So, has everyone here ever had the pleasure of tasting Coke from another country? It tastes so much better than it does here. Do you know why? It's because they use real sugar, known as high fructose corn syrup. Why do you think they don't use real sugar here? Trade restrictions. We currently have trade restrictions on sugar that were originally placed to protect our sugar farmers, but since high fructose corn syrup came around, have been more to protect the corn farmers. And as I'll explain, protectionist policies like this do not actually help our economy. They actually hurt us a lot more than they help. So there's the United States needs to abolish its trade restrictions, and there are two kinds of trade restrictions, both of which are used by the United States in different markets. So there's tariffs and quotas. Tariffs are essentially taxes placed on imported goods, and quotas are just a flat limit on the number of imports that can be brought into the United States in that market. So both of these accomplish the same thing. They raise prices of foreign goods so that the domestic goods don't have to compete with as low of a price. For example, and I'm going to be using this example a lot because it's very illustrative of how this is harmful, sugar. We have a pretty high quota, or low quota, on sugar right now to protect the corn farmer. And this, the important thing with both tariffs and quotas is they raise prices of the good for everyone in the United States. So high that for sugar, it was actually cheaper for companies to import iced tea mixes and painstakingly separate out all the sugar and then sell that sugar than it was for the United States sugar farmers to produce the sugar. So, the United States government put tariffs and quotas to try to protect those farmers and protect jobs, because it's all about job protection here in the United States. But after they put in those quotas, Kraft Foods, the company that makes Lifesavers, moved all of their plants, what are they called? Plants, to Canada. Because the price, this was in 2002, they had been producing in the United States for 80 years at that time. And they actually released a statement as to why they moved. And it was in direct response to an increase in sugar restrictions that the United States had just passed that made the price of sugar in the United States over twice as high as it is in other countries that don't have any restrictions on trade. And so, you can't really blame them for that. They couldn't make a profit selling it here, or making it here. And trade restrictions actually affect everyone. They don't just affect the companies that produce stuff. They affect, for example, the sugar industry. They affect sugar consumers. Everyone here who has ever eaten sugar, you paid more for it than you would have in other countries. And what that also means is that you have less money to spend on other things. So it also affects a lot of other domestic industries, because they are now getting less money from you. And when they get less money from you, they can't hire as many people. So jobs actually go down from that. According to a study by, this is actually in my economics textbook, Microeconomic Theory and Evaluation by Browning and Zupang. As of 2008, the average family lost $61 per year that they would have otherwise had if it weren't for sugar regulations in particular. Now, if you count all regulations that the United States has going right now, it adds up to a lot more than that. So regulations actually do affect things a lot more than you think they do. And because they end up lowering the jobs of everyone else, because you now have less money to spend on other stuff, That's the exact opposite of what the regulations were trying to do. The regulations were trying to protect jobs, but they actually end up losing them to other countries when companies here leave. But this could all be fixed if we just abolished those stupid trade restrictions. Prices would drop, everyone would have more money to spend on everything. And actually the survey that James Libby did in his public speaking class showed that no one in his class would buy American goods over foreign goods if the foreign goods were better. So why would it be okay for the government to make you buy domestic goods over foreign goods if the foreign goods are better? Which they would be if the government would place restrictions on them in the first place. So, just imagine a world where everything that you buy that is imported is cheaper. Everything that we protect is then cheaper. You have more money to spend on everything else. That's great. So basically, I've explained why protectionist policies don't work the way they're supposed to, and why the American government should abolish their trade restrictions.